Amara stood at the gate of her new school, her heart pounding. She adjusted her uniform, trying to shake off the nervousness. As she walked through the gates, the lively chatter of students made her feel even more out of place. Her eyes darted around, trying to locate her classroom, but everything felt overwhelming. She bumped into a group of girls led by Chidera, the queen bee. Chidera eyed Amara up and down, a smirk playing on her lips. "New girl, right?" Chidera said, her tone mocking. "You will not last here." Amara tried to smile, but Chidera and her friends laughed, walking away. Isioma, a quiet girl, noticed and approached Amara. "Don't mind them. I will help you find your class," Isioma offered kindly. Grateful, Amara followed Isioma, hoping the day would get better. Lunch was another nightmare. As Amara and Isioma sat quietly, Chidera's group approached their table. "Who told you could sit there?" Chidera snapped, pushing Amara's tray aside. "This table? It's for big girls." Isioma tried to stand up for Amara, but Chidera wasn't having it. "You better respect yourself," Chidera warned Isioma before turning back to Amara. You will soon learn." Amara felt humiliated but kept quiet, not wanting to cause more trouble. The bullying intensified. Chidera decided to make Amara her personal servant. After classes, Chidera handed Amara a bucket. "You will fetch water for me," Chidera ordered. Amara hesitated, but Chidera's glare made her comply. She carried the heavy bucket to and fro, while Chidera and her friends laughed. The next day, Amara was washing clothes. Chidera dumped a pile of dirty uniforms in front of Amara. "Make sure that they are clean," Chidera sneered. Amara's hands ached as she scrubbed the clothes, tears streaming down her face. Isioma found her later, trying to console her. "You need to talk to somebody," Isioma urged. But Amara shook her head. "Who will listen to me?" Amara whispered. The punishment didn't end. At break time, Chidera's group would snatch Amara's food, leaving her hungry. "We are interested in your small food today," Chidera joked, grabbing Amara's lunch. Amara watched in silence as her food disappeared, her stomach growling in protest. Now, Amara was suffering from chronic ulcer. Her mother had bought her enough provisions, just so that she would never stay hungry. The following day in school, Chidera asked Amara to bring out her provisions and hand them over. Amara begged her, saying that she had to always be on her provisions to survive her ulcer. Chidera laughed and pushed her away, saying that she was a liar and that she had met her type before. They raided her locker, taking her provisions and leaving her mocking notes. Amara felt helpless, the weight of her suffering growing heavier every day. Amara's grades began to slip. She became withdrawn, barely speaking even to Isioma. Her teachers noticed the change, but didn't know the full extent of her struggles. Mr. Adams, the English teacher, tried to reach out. "Amara, if you need help, my door is always open." Amara nodded, but she didn't say a word. The pain was too deep and she felt trapped. Eventually, she had to speak to someone. She went to the staff room to speak to her hostel matron, Mrs. Zadora. Mrs. Zadora sympathized with her and told her to bear it. "You see, my dear, Chidera's father is an asset to the school. He funds more than half of our expenses, and we cannot afford to get on his bad side. In no time, Chidera will find another prey, and you will be left alone. Just manage, my daughter, manage." Amara returned to her room sadder than she left. One day, Chidera decided to humiliate Amara publicly. During a school event, she whispered a plan to her friends. "Watch how I would disgrace her today," Chidera boasted. When Amara tried to participate in a group activity, Chidera tripped her, causing her to fall. The crowd burst into laughter and Amara ran out, tears blinding her. That night, Amara sat in her room, overwhelmed by everything. She wrote a note, pouring out her pain and frustration. She felt there was no escape from Chidera's torment. The next morning, the school was in shock. News spread that Amara had taken her own life. Students whispered in hushed tones, unable to believe it. Chidera and her friends were called to the principal's office. The news about their bullying came out to the public, and they faced severe punishment. Chidera and her friends were prosecuted. The school management was dismissed, and Chidera's father's reputation was ostracized. But did any of those bring back Amara? Isioma was devastated. She blamed herself for not doing more to help Amara. The school held a memorial service where Isioma gave a tearful speech about the dangers of bullying. Amara's death became a wake-up call for the entire school. Anti-bullying campaigns were launched, and students were encouraged to speak against maltreatment. Isioma and a few others started a support group in Amara's memory, sharing stories and offering help to those in need. Though Amara was gone, her story left a lasting impact. The school became a more supportive environment with stricter rules against bullying. Isioma continued to honor Amara's memory, determined to make sure no one else suffered in silence. And so the story ends, but the lessons linger. Until next time, keep the fire of our tales burning bright.